with all this chaos and seemingly every market out there, the stock market having people talking about going back to lows we saw during the COVID dip, the crypto market getting absolutely destroyed in these past few months and being an absolute pain fest in just the past few weeks especially, today I want to talk about the CSGO market and if we've seen any effects of this wider market action on the CSGO market and why I think the CS market is one of, if not the safest markets out there to be in, especially right now. So as always, if you do enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And just before we get into it, check out how to get a free $5 trading with the sponsor, SkinsBunky.
Hi you! Yes, you! Would you like to get $5 for free for your first trade? Just use skinsmonkey.com and get your extra skins. See description below to enjoy the special promotion and receive 5% cashback for trading your CSGO skins.
Okay, so first off, I just want to look at these polls taken by a guy on Twitter that got everyone's insight on the CSGO economy, and it got me thinking of why I should make this video. People seem to be really hopeful for CSGO's economy in just the next year. In a poll asking what everyone thinks the price of a bayonet sapphire will be in 1 year, about 90% of people think that it will be somewhere around that 3.9k price that it's at right now. Most of them going for that it will be above 4k. And around a quarter of people thinking that it'll stay below 4k, but above 2500, which I think is a really low amount to put in the poll. I'm sure most people would have said it probably would be above even 3.5k, even throughout this really bad period in the world economy that has sent markets absolutely plummeting. People have a really good outlook on CS skins, and they should, because if we look at a high tier skin like the Dragon Lord for example, in these past 6 months where Bitcoin has dropped 60% and the S&P 500, which tracks the performance of the 500 largest companies listed on exchanges in the US, is down 20%, the Dragon Lord really hasn't budged at all and has completely stayed within this range around 4k. It varies between different sites and I'm just showing this one since it's the longest history I could find, but you could see once again, Bitcoin's down 60% in the past 6 months, and the Dragon Lord hasn't really budged. It's kind of hard to get an exact number since sales slightly vary, but it's definitely around that 4k range. It's obviously not down 60%. So in case you thought there was some correlation between the crypto market and the CSGO market, I would argue there really kinda isn't at all. So honestly, the way this market has been performing throughout this extended downtrend that we've seen in the quote-unquote real world markets, the CS market hasn't really had it bad at all. Like, just look at the past 6-month comparison on the Steam market even. It's pretty much the exact opposite, and skins have kind of been going up since November. And a lot of high tier stuff has been staying stable at the price it's been at for these past 6 months at least. Now, the reason for this and the main reason I disagree with the near 40% of people that think the CS market and real markets are correlated is because most of the time we can have a really good guess as to when the CSGO market is either going to go through some turbulence or have a pretty significant like 25% crash, and that's because it can be determined by quite a few events. First off, the summer sale can cause a slight dip across play skins, and I think has caused a pullback in price already because of the anticipation of it, and it actually starts today. But in like this past week, I think skins have kind of flattened out or slightly dropped because people want to sell those skins, get that Steam wallet money, and easily buy their games. So although it isn't a major issue or anything you have to worry about selling before the actual event happens, you obviously don't need to sell your high tier skins if the summer sale is happening, it's definitely something that affects the economy and in the past has pulled prices back a bit. If you want to learn how to profit from that though, be sure to watch my recent video on how to profit from the summer sale. But either way, one more major event that happens that we can get a really good estimate on almost down to the exact week is usually an operation. When Riptide dropped, it absolutely crashed the economy, and even though things obviously recovered really quickly last time around, it was a really significant dip. Obviously you can't really predict that down to the wire in a real world market unless you get into the really nitty gritty technical analysis, but even then it's not perfect. You get the point. Also, the reason why I say we can predict when the CSGO operations will happen is because Valve usually starts hinting on them on Twitter a few weeks before they're actually going to drop, and there's a lot of signs of it. So it's not like they usually randomly drop one night, and even then it's not like they cause 6-month periods of skins just decreasing in price. It's not like we enter a bear market because it's a CSGO market. It doesn't really correlate to other markets. We see a big dip and then things really start to recover kind of quickly. So overall, I think the CSGO market is a really specific and unique market that not only can we not compare to real world markets, but it has its own trends. It constantly proves that it's a separate entity from other markets and really hasn't broken out of this long-term uptrend that's been going on for many years. I mean, why would it? Over time, there's more people coming to the game. Older people that don't play as much don't necessarily sell their skins when they're less active. People are willing to pay more and more for cases, as not only do they prove to be good flat out investments to hold on to, but also the items within them appreciate as well, since this is definitely a growing marketplace and people are getting more and more willing to spend money on it, since it's also really easy to cash out skins for real money at this point. So yeah, I really think the CS market has a lot of room to grow. A lot of people in these polls seem to agree as well that even in the next year, there's a ton of potential gains to be had compared to the really depressing results of the real markets, and I think it's definitely a store value that people underestimate and has continued to prove its strength. But yeah, besides all that, I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. So as always, if you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And of course, check out Skins Monkey as well for that free $5 bonus. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.